well, you can't have kids around ever again.
Right.
And yet there's still thousands of Catholic schools all over.
Yeah, so I wish that this article covered, well, what are we going to do from here? Well, you know what they're going to do? They're going to move on. According to this report, most of the priests in this report are dead. Mm-hmm. They are no longer living. That is dead.
Yeah. So you can't even
you can't do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are absolutely stuck. You just got a big piece of paper that says, "Hey, this happened."
Yep.
Good. Wow, that's fantastic.
Yep.
What now? What now? Nothing.
Yeah.
I guarantee you nothing.
I mean, there's not much you can do. I mean, I don't know.
People are still going to go to church. They're still going to go to Catholic churches. They're still going to enroll their kids into these choir systems or altar boy systems because it'll never happen to little Johnny until it does.
Yeah.
And the article,
it seems like it's almost likely to happen.
Yeah.
Like it seems like it's almost more likely than not. I mean, with the sheer numbers that people keep revealing. I mean, I don't know how.
Here's another one. This is a little ridiculous. Currently, Pennsylvania law, this is where you know it's always bad, states that adults who abuse children can't sue for damages after turning 30.
What?
Criminal charges can't be filed after the alleged victim turns 50.
Jesus
that's a state
Christ.
law. That's a law in this state.
Well, you know what else is a state law? That atheists can't hold office.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I'll never run for office.
Well, I mean, you can because the Supreme Court would overturn it, but
right. But
still,
will they overturn this?
Well, that's the thing. It's like atheists can't hold office, but the Catholics can continue to.
So, like, if a kid was abused when he was 9, 10, she 9, 10, and now she's 40 years old, and now these reports came out.
You can't sue for damages?
You can't sue for damages.
It's frustrating.
This is disgusting.
Yeah.
It's absolutely disgusting. And I didn't know that until I read this article. I had no idea that was the thing.
Well, it makes me wonder what the laws are here.
I don't know.
I'm hoping it's better because it's New York, but it's not a guarantee.
It's not a guarantee.
No.
It's not a guarantee. So, yeah, I had to unfortunately cover this story, especially because it's right out of Pennsylvania. But, wow, this is shocking. Right in right in my home state, in your former home state. And Allentown is not the world's longest drive. I'm just saying.
Oh, it's like it's right there.
It's like a good 30 minutes to get to Allentown. It's right there. And I guarantee you, it's happening in other places. Just because they went after the big cities, Catholic churches are in every town.
Every town, yeah.
They're not and that's the other weird thing too, is Catholic churches in PA are not the most popular church. At least not in rural areas. Baptists are what I think, or maybe Lutherans are.
I think Lutherans,
are overwhelming here. Catholics are not even there, and still that happened. So imagine a state like, dare I say, Massachusetts? Smaller state, but pretty Catholic.
Very Catholic, yeah.
What do you think? What do you think that's like?
Well, that's what we found out when they did the Spotlight investigations.
Yeah, I wonder if that's not even half of it.
It was a lot, but it's a much smaller state. Well, and they just covered Boston. Like, it wasn't even...
Yeah, just Boston, yeah.
But it was still like 177 priests or something like that, just in Boston.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
It's just so disturbing. So
Very
sad.
disturbing.
How about we move on to another story involving Pennsylvania?
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure.
Not as bad. It's going to be hard to top that Pennsylvanian story.
Okay, I'll give you that.
But
still pretty bad though.
I'm sure you and our listeners are aware of the QAnon movement. You want to call it a movement?
I guess so. QAnon
society. Yeah. I don't know.
QAnon letter worship. I don't know.
The what's it called? The Reddit page that is now showing up at Trump rallies.
Yeah.
In Pennsylvania.
Yes, in Pennsylvania, but not just in Pennsylvania.
No,
Pretty
obviously not.
There's a Trump rally.
But the video clip that we have happens to be from Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
So I don't know too much about these people. I know that they're deep state believers, and even though Trump won the presidency, the deep state still exists, and they're going after Trump, but he's still president a year and a half in.
Yeah.
It doesn't make much sense when you think about it, and even when they're questioned, there's really not a good answer. But we have a video clip to better explain what the QAnon are.
Yeah. So it's from CNN, and I know what everybody's going to say.
Fake news.
Fake news.
It's fake news, okay? Fake news.
But let's hear Anderson Cooper. He's going to describe to you the QAnon movement.
Mm-hmm. Scattered among the crowd are people who believe in some conspiracy theories that are so broad and often bizarre, it's difficult to believe, to put it mildly. It's no longer an isolated thing. Take a look. The sign with a Q on it stands for QAnon. This video is from the presidential rally in Tampa 2 nights ago. Last night on the broadcast, we focused more closely on what the group believes in and their views from the fringes of American political thought. Tonight, we wanted to give them a chance to have their say, but because so much has been written about their reluctance to talk, we weren't sure what we would get when we sent Gary Tuchman to tonight's Trump rally. Gary joins us now. So what happened?
Well, Anderson, the rally just ended a short time ago. People are now streaming out. Many of these people arriving earlier this morning, waiting in line. And like they said, we wanted to see if the people who followed this movement wanted to talk to us, and we found that they did want to.
Okay, so some of these people decided to talk to CNN.
Yes. Even though CNN is the enemy of the people.
Yes, and I think they even say that. But
they do. But as they're talking to them, oddly enough.
So let's hear a little bit of what the supporters had to say.
Okay.
Alphabet. Are you holding a big red, white, and blue Q? Why do you have that?
It's a movement, man. It's the shift. I can feel it coming. Some call it the Great Awakening.
You're wearing a shirt that says...
Okay. The Great Awakening. That's kind of important because I think that's the actual Reddit subreddit.
Yes, it is. It is.
Like, what is it? /r/the Great Awakening.
Whatever. I'm not much into the Reddit scene there for this kind of a reason.
I have to say that the first time I saw this clip, I could have sworn that guy said it's the shit. Is that a red, white, and blue Q you have there? What does that mean? It's the shit, man.
It's a movement, man.
Yeah,
it's a movement.
Shit.
It's a movement, man. That's your explanation as to what QAnon is. It's a movement,
it's
man.
It's a shift.
Remember the coffee party?
And he's like, I can feel it coming.
Which how many heard that and instantly started singing that? Because I was in my head, I was like,
and then you stop listening to the guy and you're just waiting for the drum break.
Yes, led by
Phil Collins,
Mike Tyson.
Yeah. I would gladly eat his children.
Oh. All right, so we got
this is a very interesting part of the story, though, for me personally.
Yeah, this is funny.
So I'm gonna play this person. So I'll give you a backstory. So I'd heard this clip first on Bill Maher's show, and yes, I do still listen to Bill Maher's show because
occasionally
I'm like a sadist or something. I don't know. But I was listening to the podcast version because who wants to stare at Bill Maher for an hour?
Not many people.
Not many people.
Not many people.
And I heard a voice, so I'm going to play you. It's not the exact same clip, but it's the same person.
Okay.
QWWG1WGA. What does that mean?
It means where we go one, we go all. QAnon is...
Okay, so that woman before this next one, that first woman, I heard that voice, and I was like, that sounds very, very familiar. But then I thought to myself, a person jumped in my head, and I was thinking, it can't be her. It can't be, because that'd be crazy.
Right.
And I didn't know this was the Wilkes-Barre rally. Like, I didn't know that. Because when on Maher's show, they don't tell you what, like, they don't give you any context.
Right.
And so then I remembered, he did have a rally in Wilkes-Barre. Oh, shit, it could be her. So
that also is not very far from us.
No, it's like an hour. Well, far from you.
Yeah.
It's like an hour, yeah. And so I got onto YouTube, and I found Bill Maher's closing, like a monologue or whatever it is. And when I saw the video, it was the person I was thinking of.
Oh, Jesus. And who is this person, Austin?
That person used to be my boss when I worked at the post office. Yeah. That was her.
My God,
that was
her.
Kidding me? No, I am not kidding you.
Jeez.
So, but
that's
anyway,
wild.
That
Now,
was I could
asked
not
you
believe
this.
it.
I asked you this off air.
Yeah.
Are you surprised?
I have to be honest. I was a little surprised she was that far off the deep end.
Yeah.
Like, I knew she was right wing. I mean, I knew half the people in that office were right wing.
Sure.
It's part of the reason why I left.
Well, yeah, this whole area is.
Yeah, but they were like particularly. It was bad.
A little off the wall.
Yeah,
little off the wall is probably a good.
Well,
a good
just
way to
put it
describe
like I heard a coworker say once too. Like one of the 3 people in the office who wasn't crazy, and they were talking about politics, and she's like, "Look, you believe in Jesus, don't you?" And I'm thinking, well.
Oh no!
Never start. When it starts that way, it's never good.
No.
And then the woman's like, "Yeah, sure." And this person says back, "Well, then don't worry about it. He's in control."
Oh no!
Yeah.
Oh no!
I know. So I was like, "Wow, I guess that's your political philosophy. That even if the person you voted for is horrible, don't worry about it because Jesus is in control."
He'll figure it out. Yeah.
But anyway, let's get back to what these QAnon people.
Yes,
have to
please,
say.
because this is an important clip coming up.
Yeah.
Theories are discussed on the internet, organized around the idea of an anonymous but well-connected person or persons nicknamed Q. Your shirt says the storm is here, QAnon. What does that mean to you?
Well, I've been following all the posts since October 28th.
On the internet, from QAnon.
Right, started on
the person or
4chan.
people who say they're Q.
Right.
What do you think Q is, by the way?
It's an entity of 10 or less people that have
involved with the government?
high clearance, security clearance.
And how do you know that?
Well, I'm just telling you, this is what it appears to be.
But it appears-
So hold on. Let's dissect this a little bit more.
Sure.
10 or less people. Okay. 10 or
Like-
less people.
With high security clearance.
So cigarette smoking man, if you're an X-Files fan, that's what I think of,
Yeah.
right? People who have control over the government that you don't know exist, don't have a real name or
Mulder.
number, right? Yeah.
Mulder, I have a really dumb storyline in the last season.
Mulder wasn't a part of that last season. Leave him alone. He was only there for one episode.
Excuse me. He was told. I mean, the very last season,
Okay.
the most recent one.
Oh,
he was
then.
very. Doesn't that guy have a very dumb storyline in that season?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So 10 or less people that are so high up and so secure that they are leaked on 4chan.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
that's-
no, they don't leak. They're the ones who give the information.
Oh, right.
Yeah. But
But-
Tom,
but
this
they
is
run
just
the government.
that's just how it appears.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. She's just telling us exactly. Right.
Now,
right.
now let me also say this: that the only people in this clip, like, they're all old except for the very first guy, the guy with the red, white, and blue Q.
Sure.
Who's like, it's a movement, man. He's the only one that's like under 60. So I feel like this whole thing really targets old people because they didn't grow up with the internet and they don't understand how easily they can be manipulated.
Yeah.
But let's go back to my former boss
Yes, please.
and see what she has to say.
Talking together as Americans and uniting and
Do you think it's maybe just it makes you comfortable talking with other frustrated, sometimes
Yes,
angry people?
yes.
But maybe it's not true because there's no evidence of it. It's just stuff being talked about on the internet, right?
there hasn't been any non-evidence yet.
There hasn't been any non-evidence yet. That's the clip that I wanted.
Yeah.
And you
that's
know what?
the clip that I have on my soundboard.
We give them far too much free advertisement, but the guys at Cognitive Dissonance, I think specifically Cecil, he said something that resonated, especially when it comes to this. It is not our job to prove your crazy stories. It's your job to prove your crazy stories.
Well, that's kind of like it's like the one tenet of atheism. That's the whole point. It's like, it's not our job to disprove your God. It's your job to prove him.
Right. Right.
And you obviously haven't. And so that's why I don't believe you. But this is the same, it's the same function.
Right.
Same, like, prove it. Because nothing Q has predicted has come true, by the way.
No, and it's not going to because it's a bunch of people on the internet. Do you remember when we were kids? The old saying was, "Don't believe everything you read on the internet."
Yes.
There's